Waiting on the eyeballs to pop up. Happy Tuesday. Good morning. The morning after. Limited edition for those who know. Pod is the Roof reunion episode. Absolute perfect time for this duo to happen after the insane events that conspired last night in the Dean Dome. No Dion today. It's on a full day with Greg, and he's a busy man. So you guys get the Riley and JK duo instead. Riley, how is your Tuesday going?
Starting out pretty well. I think, my frustrations with the way Carolina ended the game last night have cooled down, subsided a little bit. Just got to talk about it for 30 minutes with Matt Moderno. That recap should be up shortly. And, it's always good to get on the morning after and chop it up and talk some hoops. But even more so where, I was not expecting a Pot is the Roof reunion until you hit me up this morning saying, surprise, it's me today. So I got to tweet this link out and make sure Carolina fans know they need to get in here.
Yeah, see, I had messaged Dion yesterday, and I was like, so you and Riley tomorrow? And he was like, yep, I believe so. Then Greg sent out the schedule. Pretty full day. I was like, what do you want to do tomorrow? And he was like, thinking I lob it up for a you and Riley episode. And I was like, well, you already know I'm down for that. And it just so happened that it was kind of a perfect time. Only 2 games really last night. So it's going to be a lot of – we'll recap those 2 games. Then I guess it'll be a lot of – it's kind of crazy, man. Not many – kind of a stinky slate tonight too. Not a ton to preview. Yeah, Keel, no Dion today. If you want to see Dion, you get 14 shorts and 3 previews coming up on the channel with tons of Dion face. UNC last night, just I don't even know where to begin. For 34 minutes, I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, this team, they're figuring things out. This is their 4th win in a row. They're as Caleb says, they're laying belt on teams that they should be laying belt on. And then they give up the 35-10 run. Just an absolute disaster. Go ahead and get your ISO off on the frustrations.
Okay, so I said a lot of this on the recap, but I felt like I've watched this game 15 times over the past 5 years. And off the top of my head, you don't have to go back that far. You look at what was it, 3 weeks ago against Stanford, 4 weeks ago against Wake Forest, both games where Carolina blew double-digit leads in the second half. Dude, they were up 12 against Stanford with probably 10 minutes to go and lost that game and got walked down by Ibuka Okori, who's gone MIA since then. That's that loss is more and more frustrating the further we get from it. At least Cal has still been playing well. Cal got that road win against Miami, who's the upstart in the ACC this year, and they've been playing good ball, but Stanford has completely crumbled. And this team has got to be kicking itself that it dropped that one and just I feel like Stanford hit 14 threes against Carolina. That Wake Forest game, Wake has been getting blitzed by everyone recently too. Those are 2 that's just dude, how did you just let 1 or 2 players go off and go stupid? But even beyond that, the year where Carolina won the ACC, got a 1 seed, 2024, they were up by 25 against Tennessee, won that game by 8 after Dalton Knecht just took over late in that game. They blew a 10-point lead twice in the Sweet 16 loss to Alabama. They blew a 16-point lead against Kansas in the national championship. They blew a 25-point lead against Baylor in the round of 32 that year in 2022 and let them take them to overtime. We've just seen this team struggle to close games out under Hubert, and definitely players have to take accountability here too. As brilliant as Caleb was for the first 30 minutes, he had some tough turnovers down the stretch of this one. There was one possession where I want to say they attacked the zone exactly how you're supposed to. I think it was either Stevenson or Vasar in the middle of it who found Caleb along the back end, who went up for a dunk and just got ripped on the way up. You think Caleb is he finishes that dunk 9 times out of 10, and it's just frustrating that the one time he doesn't was when Syracuse had found its groove and were forcing Carolina into turnovers. So, all in all, a 10-point win at home right before the Duke game, in a vacuum, yeah, I'd sign up for that, especially because Like, even though I think Red Autry's probably going to get axed after this year at Syracuse, it's a team that has talent. I think Donnie Freeman could end up being a first rounder. He looked like a first rounder last night. JJ Starling was like a 5-star once upon a time. Dude, JJ Starling's shot selection is truly awful, by the way. We can get into that, but Nathan George can at least do some things in terms of collapsing defenders and finding guys for lobs or kicking out for threes. Like, it's a team that, again, if it had a coach I believed in, I would say had enough talent to be a tournament team. So, yeah, that's where it's like all hope is not lost, but it's just the manner in which you got the win was maddening, bro.
Yeah, it's like Akil said, Caleb Wilson will always be my favorite power forward prospect in the draft cycle. Yeah, Caleb Wilson's a fun watch, man. He is.
Sorry, go ahead.
He does things sometimes. I love watching Caleb Wilson play because of his relentlessness. Like, there was multiple times last night where he basically was scoring off of just sheer will and just wanting to score. Like, if he could cut out like 2 mistakes a game, I think he would literally be, and that's where the Duke game is like the ultimate test. And right. I think you kind of got to it, like being up like 32. I think the natural human ability of like, oh gosh, we got Duke Saturday, we're up 32, it's time to start looking ahead, kicks in a little bit. But then, like you said, the pattern, this team does one of 2 things every time. They either start slow and have to make some ridiculous comeback, or they get up big and allow another team to come back. And it's just like, it blows my mind because you said this in the group chat, in our big group chat last night. And this is where, like, yes, the players have to be held accountable, but I got to look at Hubert. When the run was 17-4, he just stood there. Like, you got to keep it from getting to 35-10.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in this one, like, they waited until, I think they didn't call a timeout until there was a minute and a half left in the game when Syracuse cut it to 10. And that was when Jaron Stevenson was trying to inbound the ball and they were about to get a 5-second call. Like, that was the one time Carolina called a timeout during that stretch. And meanwhile, like, I think there was a media timeout with like the under 4 when they had cut the lead to 18. You had 3 timeouts left and the game was not in doubt. Like, just burn one before that. Like, you don't have to wait till the media timeout. And I'm not even saying they like needed to do anything different. They were trying to get the ball to Caleb or Henry in the middle of that zone and get a good shot along the backside. I would say whether it was Luka or Jonathan Powell or Derek Dixon, guys were like hesitant to pull threes for whatever reason when they threw out that zone, which, like, I'm cool with any. Like, Luka caught fire in the second half and only attempted 1 3. I would have loved for him to get some more shots up. I trust Derek. Like, Derek Dixon's shot looks like it's going in every time it leaves his hands. And Powell was on a heater. Like, just get some shots up there. Use this as like a stat padding game. And I don't know if that's something from the coaching staff where they're saying like, oh, we want to work the shot clock a little bit more. Like, don't be reckless with it. I get it. I get milking some clock when you're up 30. But at the same time, like, if you get an open look against the zone, go to it. Like, it was a desperation move that Syracuse threw at you. You already had them beat, caught them blinking. They're adjusting their game plan. They're playing on your terms. Let it go and see if you can get a 40-point win, you know? So those are just all the things where, again, players got to take responsibility. They got to execute and not turn the ball over and not get flustered by, you know, the length that Cuse was throwing at them with the zone. But on a coaching staff, like, again, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but a timeout maybe goes a long way to stop the bleeding when they go on a 17-4 run before it balloons.
Yeah, it's insane. Also, we mentioned him earlier, but I just want to point out the fact that watching Nathan George freshman year at Georgia Tech, the performance he had against UNC, I'll never forget. I thought he was going to be so special. I swear it was 30. He couldn't miss. Do you remember that game where he just literally could? Dude, I thought that kid was going to be the truth. I was like, first off, he spells Nathan with an I. This kid might be special. And then I don't even know. Like, I mean, he was honestly pretty good last night, 15 on 50-40 splits. But yeah,
Man, him making those 3-point makes, bro. He had made 9 threes in ACC play going into last night, and of course,
and this is where I get so frustrated with this year's Carolina team. Is like, this team is too talented to do the stupid stuff. Like, do I think Duke is better? Like, this is where it's like different. Do I think Duke is better than Carolina? Yes. However, this isn't like last year where I knew when we went and laced them up, we had no chance against Duke. Like, this is a year where we should at least be competitive against Duke. And that's where it's like, whatever. I mean, they just can't. You can't. If we do this against Duke, it's a 20-point loss. That's all I know. You can't do the lull thing.
Right.
Rick, to answer your question, I honestly, I don't know how there wasn't a short done on that, unless they just didn't think they could talk about it for a long time. But you have to give them the benefit of the doubt when both of their teams play, and it was as nasty as that game was. You just got to lock in and prepare for a day of Michigan and Michigan State content, which is what you got. Today is a much more balanced day. Also, you and Russell Baxter arguing about Indiana and Purdue is my favorite thing ever. And I'm just going to keep reading it. But
wait, what was Rick saying about Pearl as a moron?
Oh, dude, did you not hear what he said about the running point pod, bro?
No.
Dude, in mid-game, he's commentating. And he brings up the running point pod, but he thought that Fletcher was the one that did the pod, not Braden.
Wait, this is Bruce Pearl?
Bruce Pearl. Yes.
What? He was calling a Purdue game?
He was calling Purdue, Maryland.
I didn't watch a second of that game because
I don't blame you, but it was nasty. And
wait, what did he say?
I don't know. I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something about like something Fletcher Lawyers podcast. I was like, oh God, here comes Bruce. Bruce Pearl calling games is like becoming my favorite pastime because he's like just on a first name basis with everyone and all the refs. But we got to stop letting him call Stevens games, man.
Wait, he wasn't on the Tennessee game, was he? The Tennessee Auburn game? I watched that. I did the recap of that, but I watched it on mute.
When did he do the Steven? He did a Steven game like maybe 3 weeks ago or something.
I think he did in the Players Era tournament, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's when it was. And then
go ahead.
It's interesting. Yeah, so Rick said Fletcher was saying the shit Braden said about getting right in the players only meeting. So he straight mentioned the pod but plugged the wrong player.
With Bruce Pearl on the call, I truly think one of my favorite phenomenons as we see more and more like coaches or sometimes it's former players who like get in the booth and it just sounds like they're treating it like it's a podcast. And I feel like that's very fitting for Bruce Pearl, where when you hear him on the call, he thinks he's just on a podcast chopping it up. And
dude,
yeah, he's in the Players Era tournament. He was sharing some like straight up unhinged stories in the middle of games. I was really hoping, because Subi and I did the preview and recap for Tennessee Auburn, and I had the game either on mute or on low volume for most of the time. Sometimes if I'm not familiar with the booth, I'd rather, I don't know, just lock it. Sometimes it helps me focus more when I can just lock in and watch the game without the sound or whatever. But there's this dude who's been calling SEC games who sounds like Terrence Oglesby. If Terrence Oglesby ripped Pall Malls, like if he was just chain smoking Pall Malls, like, and he was on the call. But Subi and I were making jokes that it'd be funny to get like a Jimmy Dykes, Bruce Pearl, pick your play-by-play guy of choice triple booth for a Tennessee Auburn game. But
yeah, that'd be great.
But anyway, should we get back to Carolina, since that's all we want to talk about anyway when it's the two of us? I feel like we should mention the positives from that Carolina game because they did play.
Yeah, I do want to mention the positives. The positives for me, Caleb Wilson is Caleb Wilson. Henry, I thought, was sensational last night. The biggest positive for me, though, is one, Jaren continues to be great. He's going to be essential on Saturday. And two, Powell getting confidence ahead of the Duke game could be massive. We need a microwave guy like that to go off in order to win that game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the guard room, the perimeter group as a whole was good last night until like some of the turnovers down the stretch were pretty tough. But I thought Luka had a stretch in the second half where he scored 8 straight points. Love to see that. He hit that leaner where his like foot was on the line, came back down, hit a 3 from the top of the key coming off a screen. And I think Carolina has found something with him in terms of letting him curl off of screens, get into the paint, and make decisions, whether he's getting to his floater or he's good finishing through traffic last night or finding guys for an assist. And then we get like with Powell, I just love how as soon as that guy makes like one single corner 3, he's like celebrating back down the court. I think his energy and like the willingness to just talk that talk like gives this team an edge. So I thought they were both great. I thought the front court was great. Again, it was just like the late game execution was maddening.
Oh, my God, dude. Caden Boozer, I'm sorry. He just cracks me up every time. Where's my glorious King D? He is doing the full day with Greg. Caden, I'm sorry. You might have to hang out with Cam in the meantime. Yeah, no T.O. Cart on live during this month is crazy. Carter got fired after the big fight, Caden, so he's doing the full day. That's honestly the great spin zone. Is that Carter got fired. I like that spin zone.
So the big fight with G.
Oh, yeah.
Has there been any insight onto what the fight was about?
So here's the thing. I have like 10 minutes of fight footage before they stopped clicking record. It's just a matter of if they ever want me to release it. But basically, like, it was just they were recapping the game. I think there was things outside of that recap that they were like annoyed with on a personal level. So like, and they hadn't talked about it. And then like Greg felt Cart was being biased, and then they just it toppled it. This is the funniest part about it is what led to the argument was Carson Cooper rebounding. If that tells you anything. Release the files, JK. Like I got the Epstein files over here. No, I mean, I know he said that it was in my hands, but like I'm not gonna do that unless you your car. Like, you know what? Screw it. Release it.
Share the dirty laundry.
It's pretty funny though. Let's see. Before we get into the second game, Nick Boyler earlier, I just saw it. He said, "Who wins the Michigan-Illinois game?" That's going to be an absolute. It's going to be a banger.
Okay, I got a question for you, JK. Maybe you know this. Maybe someone in the chat can help me. When Illinois fans do the capital ILL, when they are like rallying around each other, do they say ILL, or is it like is that the premise of it? I can't imagine they're just yelling "ill."
Yeah, I think it's ILL, and then if they say "ill," then that's a problem. We have a serious problem.
Big Ten teams are just like very big on spelling out their school. Whether you get like the OHIO from Ohio State or ILL, who could forget we are? This is Indiana. Screw red and blue. Wait a second, This is Indiana, where we do it big, flexing on the Big Ten. You know what it is. This is IU. Yeah, I know. I knew that I wasn't. Okay. No way. Ulamog says it says "go ill," or is it "go ILL"?
Hey, all I know is you doing that chant while Russell's going to war with Purdue fans is special. That's just perfect timing from you. Shout out. Look, Rick said, "What the hell, Riley?" Minnesota spells out their name in a chant. Yeah, that's because they got Hubert Davis protege Cade Tyson getting buckets every night.
I thought Minnesota was Ski Uma. Like that's not what is. If Ulamog can tell me what Ski Uma means, I'll really respect it. You have seen that This is Indiana video, haven't you, JK?
Yes.
Okay. It's like a relic from the 2010s of just like white guys trying to rap. This was like commonplace when I was in college, but I think This Is Indiana is the peak version of it. Sorry, Pickle Rick.
You go, you two. I like you better than the other two on this cast.
This is Indiana.
It's so funny. I'm about to just start singing that anytime Rick is like trying to get on me in the chat. I'm just gonna start spamming. This is Indiana.
1 banner, 2 banner, 3 banner, 4. Come on, Russ. I need you to get hyped for this one. 5 banner, 6 banner, knocking at your door.
You fans are morons. Tony Billich said go ILL and it became a meme.
Okay, gotcha. That's good to know.
All right, Riley, answer this question, and then we're going to talk about the Peterson late game masterclass. Riley, you think Hubert started going back to the switching late in the game to keep some of that off the tape for the Duke game? Seems like the team crumpled when they stopped switching with 10 left.
You think they crumpled when they stopped switching? I thought they looked better early on when like Seth was fighting through screens to stay on. So he was trying to stay attached to Nate George and like cut the head off the snake. I need to go back and rewatch to like weigh in more what's what I'm looking for, like thoughtfully with the defensive scheme. I just haven't been like a fan of the switching for most of the year because I think it gets your bigs on an island too much and it takes away from what Caleb Wilson does the best in terms of like. Sorry, I just saw Pickle Rick's last comment. Caleb, I think we saw. Well, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, JK?
See, I've been so back and forth on what I like this team to do schematically. Because on one hand, if you switch, it does limit the amount you have to rotate. But on the other hand, it's the same problem I say Purdue has, which we have just too many weaknesses on the court at a time. And it's like, now against Duke, though, I'm not necessarily opposed to switching just because, listen, man, if we lose to freaking Gungba and Foster and Caden, then like whatever. I'm gonna just tip my cap. Like if I lose because Foster and Caden are on islands all game cooking, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think Duke really has the guards who can hunt for switches and get the matchup they want. Like again, Syracuse did that, SMU did that, but I think as a whole, like. I like it. I even thought like Carolina early on, they were switching off ball action to get like Syracuse was getting Seth Trimble on Donnie Freeman somewhat regularly. Like a lot of Freeman's baskets came against Trimble, and that part that was like my one nitpick through the first 30 minutes was I thought they got a mismatch with Freeman too often. So yeah, I don't know. I think at the same time, I would say like. As a whole, I thought Carolina looked much better, much more connected and even more aggressive and were jumping passing lanes more and making Syracuse uncomfortable through the first 30 minutes, where if you attribute that to whatever scheme they were running and switching is part of that, I'm a fan of it. But yeah, I would have to go back and rewatch that second half to weigh more thoughtfully in on the defensive scheme.
Yeah. My closing thoughts on the UNC thing is like, we're being critical because we do think this team is talented and has a lot of upside. At the end of the day, like they played 5 minutes of bad basketball, but they were up 32. So they at least did something right for the other 30. So I'll tip my cap to that.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was a lot of bad turnovers down the stretch too. And I would say that was more of the issues than anything defensively they were doing. Like there was that one play, they were still up, I think it was 31 with 8 minutes to go. And it was a bad pass from Dixon to Luka, like just overthrew him a little bit. Luka had to like tiptoe to stay in bounds, missed the layup. Caleb misses the putback, and it leads like it's a wild rebound that leads to a run out for Syracuse on the other end. So I just hope we get the team that played the first 30 minutes against Duke, and we'll see, man. They just a lot of mental mistakes down the stretch that hopefully you get corrected.
God almighty, this chat is hilarious right now. Rick with the perfect question to lead us into the next topic for these last 10 minutes before Riley has to go on about his day. Thoughts on DP in the final 4 minutes of the Texas Tech Kansas game last night? I mean, special. What are your thoughts on DP?
He escaped Atwell Island. I thought Donovan Atwell guarded him really well up until the last few minutes. And just the 2 threes, so I've been team AJ really this whole year. I'm still an AJ guy. Some of the recent struggles in league play are a tad alarming to where you wouldn't have to work that hard to convince me to, move up Caleb Wilson on my board. But when you see Peterson struggle for what felt like, and maybe struggle is too strong of a word, but just not live up to his standards. Like he has set himself up with very high standards. And when he's not living up to that, it is noticeable. But to come down the stretch and hit back-to-back threes to put that one away on the road, and what I thought was truly a masterclass from Grant McCaslin, being down your star point guard who plays 39 minutes, has this crazy usage, even with as good as Toppin is. Who's the guy who's getting Toppin the ball? Who's the guy who's feeding Toppin on pick and roll? Who's the guy who's making sure he's getting his touches and his spots? It's Christian Anderson. Who's the guy who is this incredible pull-up shooter who can bail you out late shot clock situations? It's Christian Anderson. Without him to pivot to let Lawan Watts really run the show in the second half, it worked to perfection for a 7 or 8 minute stretch when Texas Tech built that 10-point lead. So that's why I thought just gutting that one out and getting DP free. And I think even what's special about him, obviously really gifted on-ball player. That's the sell for him at the next level. But that first three he hit where he's just relocating to find the open window and firing away, that shows you why he's special. And I'm willing to say, okay, that is the number one guy. I see why. Because to just shake off a bad stretch of ball and to knock down the 2 biggest shots of the game, that's why people love the Kobe comp,
Yeah, that's the thing that you can't teach, you can't coach a kid to have that. They either have it or they don't. I mean, this is where I land. I'm with you. I've been an AJ guy since before the season. I think they're both special. But I'd be lying to myself if I didn't say that the only real reason that I'm so like AJ over Darren is because of the weird injury stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing I will say about last night is, and I'm not trying to discredit it because at the end of the day, he hit the shots, but Texas Tech wins that game by 10 if Christian Anderson plays. I just want that to be known.
Yeah, probably.
Texas Tech shot 33, 32 splits or something like that, and somehow almost won that game. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that contested from the left wing and then double clutch from the right corner is just crazy. I don't know, man. All right, so you mentioned the Kobe comp. We're gonna play a game like we're in our draft style videos here. Give your one current NBA player comp and your one all-time NBA player comp for DP.
Current player?
My current one is
I would say skinny James Harden.
Yeah, see, I'm at a crossroads because this is, God, dude, people are gonna think that I am glazing to the next level if I say this, but I'm not. I'm just saying based on where they were at their respective ages and what they do. But I swear Darren Peterson to me is more polished Ant Edwards.
I think with Ant,
even though I think Ant's probably a better athlete.
Yeah. That's what feels more transcendent with Ant is the frame and the athleticism, even though we saw DP dunk on BYU's whole team. For some reason, it still feels like Ant when you combine like the frame, but he also is a good bit older. Like I don't think Ant was built like this when he was at Georgia. So I mean, maybe Peterson adds some muscle, and that comp seems a little more tenable once he gets to the league for a couple of years. But I've seen some people compare him to Devin Booker. I don't hate that, but I think he's more explosive than Booker.
I like more explosive D-Book as a good comp for him, to be honest.
Bradley Beal has been thrown out. I think he's like mega souped up Bradley Beal with defensive upside, though.
I mean, from a cerebral perspective, I mean, I'm not saying he's there yet, but like, I don't see why he couldn't become like an SGA style player where he's just like really damn hard to stay in front of. And he just, I don't know. The problem with like making a comp for Darren Peterson is that he's so good. Any comp you say sounds like you're delusional.
Yeah, I know. Right? I think with Peterson, sorry. The Shea comparison. We already have a Shea in this draft class, though. It's Keaton Wagler, so we can't use Shea for Peterson.
That's true. That's true.
That's like crazy that like Wagler. I would have when Illinois fans were gassing him up all offseason and Underwood was saying, "Oh, he's exceeding expectations." I was like, that felt like a stretch. This was back in like July. If you had told me then he'd be getting Shea comps, I would have said you're out of your skull. But
dude, I'm telling you, bro, it's nuts. My all-time comp for DP. Now that's where it gets like really, really, really hard. God almighty, dude. He has so many elements of guys like sprinkled, but he gives me, and if you watched a lot of NBA and you watch the student is prime, but like,
should we say what we're both thinking on 3?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Brandon
Roy. Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. It's so Brandon Roy coded, man. Brandon Roy was like literally, if he didn't get injured, gonna be one of the greatest 2 guards ever. And I think him and DP are so similar, man.
Yeah. The way they move, the frame, all of that, the effortless pull-up shooting, like the way that they play both on and off ball, just that gravity, like the athleticism that you, even when you see it, it still kind of surprises you when they'll just like flush one on somebody. Yeah, I think that's probably like the most realistic comp that doesn't feel like, oh, you're not putting Kobe expectations or Ant Edwards expectations on him. But it's also at the same time, like if you were watching the NBA when Roy was in there, you kind of know that it is like still true high praise.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, Riley, you've got 2 more minutes before your exodus. Had to use a Bible reference for you there. Do you have any last things you would like to discuss before you get on out of here?
Yeah, let's do I got some Kansas takes to get off, and then I kind of want to do that same game for Caleb Wilson.
Okay, bet. I like that.
All right, so Kansas takes. This is a really good basketball team, and that win against Texas Tech, even without Christian Anderson, like really showed me something. Again, I was watching this like, can I sign McCaslin up to like be in Chapel Hill next year? Like, can we go take this guy? Just based on the way he adjusted, and like that offense was a real grind for the Red Raiders in the first half, and to just empower and build her, like free up Lawan Watts to kind of run it through him until it stopped working. Really impressive adjusting on the fly. Kansas, on the other hand, just why I would say it was such a good win from them. Like they're getting, I know Trey White had that awful pass, like that almost blew it after Peterson hit that first 3, but like he still made that contested midi down the stretch that kept them in it. And Melvin Council had that huge block on Watts, like on that feed. He cut, I think it was Toppin was on the right block and Watts just cut into the paint. Council met him at the rim. I know Watts isn't the most explosive guy, but still to get that from your point guard, like Council really sets the tone for this team. And anytime that Peterson is like lacking, Council sort of picks up the slack. Also posting a 3.3 assist to turnover ratio so far. Like, he's been awesome across the board. And I just think like the Bill Self Coach of the Year conversations are a little rich when, like, this is Kansas, you have top 5 expectations. I'm not just going to give you an award for being top 15, top 12, but I think he has gotten in his bag and has just found some guys with Council and White who fit him. And yeah, to dig deep to get out that win, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're clicking. They're clicking on all cylinders right now, and I think that makes the game against Arizona coming up very, very interesting. It's going to be fun.
Should we do our Caleb Wilson comp?
Let's do our Caleb Wilson modern all-time. What's your answer here?
Man, modern, I don't know if I have a good comp except Giannis for the ceiling, which I was not the first to say that. Carter was before anyone gets on me for it, but I got to go with my guy. I got to stand for Caleb and say Giannis. Do you have a more realistic current pro comp for him though?
See, I know this is going to sound crazy, and I hate to compare him to a guy from the school down the road, but how good this dude's been. I see a lot of Jalen Johnson and Caleb Wilson.
I actually think that's a pretty good shout,
especially considering like the inconsistencies of the jumper. But like, dude, Jalen Johnson's become like a 22-10, and like he's really good. I see a lot of that with Caleb.
I actually like that comp a lot. How big is Jalen Johnson?
I think he's in that like 6'9", 6'8" range. Yeah, I think Caleb has a little bit of a higher ceiling though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Caleb has. I know. So, I mean, is it fair to say he could be like a Paolo Banchero type player if we want to keep the Duke comps going?
Yeah, I think that's true. And then I also all time, I don't care what anyone says, and this is kind of like what you said with Giannis. I don't care. Shoot me. I think KG is like the perfect all-time comp. Like he just is, man. Like relentless, drives in the mid-range, back to the basket. Like they're just perfect comp.
Yeah, I'm with you on KG. That was who I was going to say. I'll end with this, and I got to get out of here. Crazy that people were throwing out Marvin Williams comparisons for this team at the start of the year.
Not starving Marvin, my boy.
9 point per game, Marvin Williams compared to a dude who just rolls out of bed with 20. So
yeah.
Thank you, Caleb Wilson. My life, I can't imagine going through this cold January without Caleb Wilson in my life right now, especially as I wake up and it's 18 degrees in North Carolina. This is not supposed to happen in the South, but just the thoughts of Caleb Wilson keep me warm at night.
If Duke is walked down on Saturday, I might have to put in a formal request that we do the Tuesday again. And we just spend the whole Tuesday talking about UNC beating Duke.
And if we win on Saturday, I don't care what the score is. If we win, I will give Hubert his flowers. I will have nothing to say about Hubert Davis if we win this game on Saturday.
Because this is like the hump to get over. Ever since the Final Four year, like Duke has been putting belt on us pretty much.
Oh, we swept them 2 years ago. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's just last year is such a dull spot.
Also, Pickle Rick, yes, I do catch that South Park reference. I watched every episode of South Park in high school. Fell off with it when I got to college, but I know the OG references. So,
oh man, shout out South Park! Shout out everyone in the chat, man. I hope you guys continue your Indiana and Purdue spirited debates in the Discord, which you should join. Get you a cup of Tinker coffee. Do all the sleepers things. Be back tomorrow, guys. Dion will be back. Caden, if you're still out there, don't worry. Riley, have a wonderful day. Chat, have a wonderful day. Peace.